Hello, all, and welcome to the next panel session of the Global Ready Conference for 2024. The title of our next session will be that the time is now for AI in translation. My name is Adam Noonan, and I am a Senior Customer Success Manager here at SmartLink for the past 4 years. And joining me for this session will be Patricia Sands, who is the Translation Program Manager for SAS, and Nancy Ferreira de Rocha, who is the Senior Localization Program Manager at FedEx. So, Nancy, would you perhaps like to give yourself a brief introduction before we start?
Yes, sure. Thank you very much. Well, I'm very pleased to be part of this panel. I think second or third time being part of a Global Ready conference. So I'm pretty excited about the topics that we're going to be talking about today.
Thank you, Nancy. And Patricia.
Thanks for having us today. My name is Patricia Sainz, and I will give a brief introduction about SAS a little bit for the ones who doesn't know or are not familiar with the company. SAS is a global software and solutions company. It's a founder of analytics and has been leading the market for the last 50 years. And it's interesting to know that it has been empowering customers around the globe to take faster and better decisions through the use of innovative AI. I joined SAS 16 years ago from Buenos Aires, Argentina, leading the digital marketing strategies and operations, and then expanding that role globally. In 2016, when NFT started to be a big thing, I moved to US, and that's when I started my translation path. My first task was to create the translation program for some SAS marketing business units, and I was able to onboard 16 languages and move them in the localization model from manual to agile. Lately, I've been focused on the web translation program, and my goal has been since then to make sure that everybody, everywhere, gets an awesome web experience around the globe. Currently, I'm trying to expand that into brand campaigns. Quite a journey.
Thank you all. Perhaps, Nancy, would you maybe like to give a similar bit of background on FedEx before we really dive into the meat of the discussion?
Sure, I was quite brief in the beginning. So FedEx is a global delivery company, one of the world leaders of delivering. We're obviously present everywhere in the world. In fact, we're a verb in English. And yeah, it's our team is specifically part of what we call GDX, so the Global Digital Experience team. And we take care of anything that has to do with the digital interactions of FedEx customers with FedEx. So anything that has to do with online journeys with our products.
Okay, super. Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. All right. To kick off this panel, I am going to steal the first question from its actual title. So, Patricia, I'll turn to you first. Why do you believe now is the time for AI in translation?
Well, I believe the time is not now. It was yesterday. Embracing AI, honestly, it feels to me less of a choice and more than a need. AI has been with us in the last years, and it has been bringing a lot of speed to the table. We've been translating huge amount of translations, huge volumes at the blink of an eye. And where it gets exciting is that AI learns and it's getting better exponentially. It also, I think that the best part is also that it's cost efficient. So it has enabled companies like us to translate more than we ever thought possible with the same resources. So for us, cost savings plus speed enable us to localize more content and translate more, impacting on a better web and customer user experience. And it not only brings more business opportunities to the table, but it means also more inclusivity and accessibility. When we talk about AI in the language industry, we talk about a revolution in communications. It has taken up the landscape completely, how we generate language, how we use language, and how we pay for it. Language used to be more a human, unique feature, so as to say it. And I think that right now that is not true anymore. Language is not what makes us human. What makes us human is the ability that we have to react to changes through intuition, creativity, and how we face all these new challenges. So for the ones who haven't stepped in yet in AI, my advice would be it's overwhelming. There is a lot of doomsaying, fly optimism out there. Just focus on your use case, focus on what you're trying to solve. Or if you don't have anything to solve, you're lucky. What are you doing so great? And maybe there is something you want to accelerate, augment, boost, and then talk to your language and technology partners and see what AI-driven solutions they have for your goals and test it. I think baby steps, and yes, we don't have a lot of time to lose.
No, for sure. And then Nancy, what about yourself? Is the time for AI yesterday, or is it still today?
Well, actually, I think that for localization professionals, the time for AI started back when NMT became a big thing. I would say 2016, 17, I don't remember, when there was this big breakthrough. And I think that not that typically we in the localization industry, maybe we haven't marketed this a lot. So I think that if we've been using NMT for years and years, we already are using AI. So yeah, I think the time for AI was already quite a while ago. But obviously, right now there is a boom in news that are surfacing. It seems to have gone mainstream, and a lot of people are super either very enthusiastic or very, like doom scenarios. Like Patricia said, I do like what she said as well about what makes us human. I still think that language makes us human, and it's an intrinsic part of human nature. But really, the capacity of adapting to new realities is what make us humans. And this is, AI is here to stay. We do need to embrace it and see how we can best make use of it. And obviously, for companies like ours that are everywhere and they're constantly trying to innovate and bring better experiences to customers, relying on humans for everything is impossible. It's impossible to scale at that speed, and we need to see AI as the tool that will help us achieve that, or that is helping us achieve that.
I'd say that's not the first time I've heard that the localization department needs to sell itself better, or it's certainly probably not the last time I've heard it either. So moving on from I suppose how you think we've arrived at the current point to more practical measures. So say, Patricia, at SAS, how have you leveraged AI? What have you implemented in your role?
Sure. Let me provide you a little bit of context. We translate marketing content present on our website into 14 languages. And our translation strategy relies on a decentralized model. That means that decisions, budget, and resources sit on the regional and local side. makes it challenging and time-consuming to deal with multiple local language vendors around the globe. So in 2018, we started to assess NMT as a way, to improve all this. And we started to add to the translation mix, language by language, expanding it to all the languages supported. AI in the form of NMT was a game changer for us. So last year, going down that path, we trained Google AutoML for the first time in 5 languages and added also glossary customization into another 4 languages. We performed some tests and we saw that Google AutoML outperformed generic engines, including DeepL, which was our favorite one. We got high quality translations, ideal for low visibility content. We also had a lot of automation in our workflows, but I want to say that we had always human in the loop. That means that we had 1 or 2 steps in the workflow. It could be internal review done by our internal teams or MTPE done by agencies combined with internal review. There is always people checking translations. Right now, our translation mix looks like 55% MT, 25 MT plus MTPE, machine translation post-editing, and only 20%, 100% human translations. We still rely for high creative, compelling content on professional services like transcreation, copy editing, and adaptation. And long story short, AI for us enable us to improve velocity, reduce cost, and ramp up the volume that we translate our content for web pages. From the business standpoint, that meant significantly increase our organic traffic, and most importantly, improve our customer, user, advocate, and prospect experience and the way how they perceive SaaS.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fascinating. One question I have on the back of that is that, again, you mentioned SaaS, again, a large organization, lots of local market teams. Obviously, implementing an MT back in 2018 or AI tools now, that's a big change. So how did you go about getting the buy-in from the local markets? What kind of discussions did you have with them?
Again, we needed to improve time to market. That was crucial. And dealing with multiple vendors takes a lot of time just to get them on board every time we needed to localize or translate. So having MT added a lot of velocity. And right now, markets are asking for MT. We are not the ones. We always give them the choice. As I said, budget and decisions are on their side. We empower them. We help them. And right now, they are the ones relying on MT.
A little bit of a, if you build it, they will come type thing.
Exactly.
So then Nancy, what about at FedEx? So what kind of steps have you taken along your AI implementation journey?
We're still in infancy, to be honest. Maybe shocking. This has to do with many factors. One of the factors is a very long journey of change management that we've been through, a digital acceleration process that we've been through, the whole department, like I said, the GDX, digital global experience. My God, even forgot my own acronym. So this process of becoming this global digital department has been going on for years. In a large organization like ours, things sometimes take time, and that's why the focus hasn't been as much on MT or NMT. So we finally took the first steps, I reckon maybe last year or maybe end of 2022. I don't remember exactly, but just with a couple of projects, trying out with out of the box MT plus post editing and internal review, and so we've done a couple of tests on that, and then we decided, okay, now it's time, and we recently, a couple of months ago, decided to train engines with our TMs and glossaries, etc., with the help of Smartling. So we have started using those train engines, and now we're on the process of ramping up, trying out different types of content and seeing how things are going. We are relatively centralized, like anything that is like ownership of the global digital experience team. So our online tools that our customers use to manage their shipments, and all the communications that go around that online tool, our website, FedEx.com. Those are basically our biggest products and our biggest focus, and those are centralized. This is the reason why we exist as a department, right? Centralized budget, etc. But we also support regional teams, specifically marketing teams, for online campaigns, anything that will ultimately go online on our website that has to do with marketing campaigns, etc. So they also have their separate budgets, and that was for sure a matter of, we built technology infrastructure, not only with Smartling, but also with content management systems, content repositories, etc. And then obviously for the regions, like it was for them to use, right? So we have this hybrid model in which a big portion of the activities are centralized, and some other portions are in the markets. So right now what we're doing is testing MT, and now again always with a human in between, because we do work with customer facing content, and there are lots of legal red tape, brand approvals. So there is a lot of approval systems within the organization that need to happen. So we're definitely not going still on the route of raw MT, although for sure we want to find pockets. I'm pretty sure that we will find pockets in the organization where raw MT would be a good solution. But for now, yeah, it's MT with post editing and regional approval or in-country review step.
Mm-hmm. Okay, super. So then, whilst we have discussed, I suppose, the benefits of AI implementation up until now, and again, the localization industry is abuzz with chatter about the potential of it. One thing that we don't hear that often is the potential pitfalls or possible drawbacks of AI. So turning back to Patricia, what would you flag as some of the things that we need to be on the lookout for when implementing AI, or any caveats that you would add if someone is looking to add AI into their translation process?
Yes. Let's start by saying that there is no good AI without good data.
Mm-hmm.
As you've heard everywhere, garbage in, garbage out. So if engines are not well trained because the source is flawed, you can see many cases like the engines can translate bias, not inclusive, sometimes aggressive content, not in the level of formality you expect. Also, you've heard a lot about hallucinations. I'm not going to explain that. And lastly, deepfake generation, when you use technology to create fake videos, fake images, fake content that has ethical implications and may create issues when it comes to ownership and copyrights. A way to mitigate that toxicity challenges is to use AI responsibly. And by responsibly, it would be in a transparent and fair way where you ensure to protect everybody's rights and privacy. Another way is having always human and experts checking what AI does. AI does a lot of things, create content, write an essay. So you need to make sure you have experts in place to check that work, especially when it comes to public content, that those errors or where those errors may impact negatively on your brand.
And Nancy, anything that you would, I suppose, given where I suppose you are earlier in that journey, anything that you would flag to individuals or to people watching who are about to start down the same path? What would you tell them to look out for?
Well, I think that right now, what at least in my experience, what we've been as a team experiencing a lot or going through is managing expectations of upper management. And because AI has become such a mainstream topic, especially Gen AI, and if you enter LinkedIn, the only thing you see is how what amazing solutions there are, and like if you just implement this, touch of a button and all your problems will go away, and why are we even using people at all? So that those conversations certainly have been happening a lot in the past year. Upper management wanting to know more about it, wanting what we're doing with it. So there has been a lot of education. I don't want to say education because it sounds a bit condescending, but like sharing knowledge and reality on what can be realistically achieved by adopting AI. And again, like what Patricia said, super important. Garbage in, garbage out. So yeah, we are ready to implement AI for many things, and neural machine translation for many things. But if your source has deep issues with internationalization, or your copy is written without consistency, then you're not going to get great results, especially if you're talking about customer-facing content. So yeah, being the voice of reason, the voice of knowledge, it has though allowed us to place ourselves in the organization as the experts, as the people who know and who are there to support and to give input on it. So that has been great, and we've been involved with a lot of chats and talks about technology that have been very interesting in the past year.
And would you have any tips or advice for those who are, say, evaluating the AI tools and options that are out there?
Yeah, I think I would think look at the reality of your business, what you really want to achieve. What are the main business goals that you're trying to achieve? But also start small. Start with something manageable. Reduce the scope. Try out in a smaller scope, and try to iterate as quickly as possible and see the results as quickly as possible, so you still can steer a bit around. So yeah, take the agile approach instead of a massive big bang. Just start small.
Yeah, don't bite off more than you can chew. Patricia, anything to add on the tools front, or?
No, I think, yeah, I agree with Nancy. Like, it's overwhelming out there. So start with your use case. What is it what you want to solve, make better, add speed, and build that use case, and then look for the AI-driven solutions that can help you to achieve that. Instead of just going and see what's out there in AI, there is a lot, and it's overwhelming. So the idea is, what do you need, and how AI can help you, how can be your partner. And yes, try to test this and have experts, because if you don't know the task, then you're not going to know if the outcomes are good. So you need to understand what you are asking AI to do for you. And that's when all the experts comes in and can help.
And then as we move towards the end of our session here, I have one or two more questions. So one, I suppose, in general, and it's something you just mentioned there, Patricia, with so many options and everything moving so fast, do you try and keep on top of everything, or do you just kind of pick your lane and stick to that and maybe check what else is new every couple of months?
Yeah, well, working at SAS, AI, it's every day, all the time, because we are a synonym of AI. So what I try to do is, stay on top of what's going on related to what I do, but also you need to be aware what's going on in terms of ethical AI, responsible AI, and the way you are using it. So I watch every webinar, podcast, listen to all the podcasts while I'm cooking, and talk to experts, see what they are doing, use their use cases, get inspired by others, try to inspire others, and talk to peers. This is like an ongoing task, and it's going so fast that everything you know right now is going to be old in a month. So it's hard to catch up, but there is no other way.
And then Nancy, anything to add on that?
I think I cannot say that I listen to podcasts about AI when I'm cooking, but I do try to filter a bit, because it can be a bit crazy, the sheer amount of news or not news. Sometimes there's a lot of clickbait around, I think, as well. So I do try to keep focus on what we're doing right now, but obviously always keeping an eye here and there on what's going on and what's happening, because it's also sometimes you get invested in the brand new things that happen today, or the brand new technology or advance that happen, and then within a month that's obsolete already. So it's like where to put your energy is sometimes quite difficult. It's really it can be overwhelming. So I try to focus on what we're doing right now and keeping a selective eye on what's going around and how things are advancing, but not too involved, because it can be a vortex.
Thank you. Can suck you in, all right. Okay, super. Well, I've got one kind of last question for you. So I'll turn to Patricia first. I suppose and again, it's quite general, like what's next for FedEx? Are there concrete plans for your next 6 months, or do you have an idea in mind of what you'd like to be able to do with AI, say in 6 months or a year?
I think you said Patricia, but then you say FedEx. So
yes, so I was waiting on you, Nancy. Yes.
All right, that's an unfair question on my part. So, Nancy, we'll go with you first, since you've already.
Yes, it's okay. Obviously, like mentioned in the beginning, we're full on trying to implement the train engines, we're already implementing the train engines and incorporating more and more content on that. And then what we want is to have like good, like what Patricia said at the beginning, like a better ratio of human versus MT content. We also want to tier the type of content and the different types of like streams of requests that we're getting. So that I think that that's going to be much easier with the rollout of NMT. And then we're seeing there are talks about Gen AI, properly Gen AI, generating content from AI, and how to translate that multilingually. Are we going to be like prompt engineering or in different languages? Are we going to be doing Gen AI only in English and then translate with MT? Like how are things going to look like in the future? And what it is really I think the most overwhelming part of all of this is because unless you are subject matter experts on AI and everything that is happening with LLMs, it's quite difficult to predict. Things can change from now to 6 months. A breakthrough can come on, and we need to be flexible enough to be able to steer. So you want to commit to what you're doing right now enough to be solid, but at the same time not commit too much that you don't have the wiggle room to steer towards other direction, knowing that very likely the exponential changes that will happen with AI will only be more and more.
Mm-hmm. And then, Patricia, for you, SAS, not FedEx, where are you going to see yourself? Where will this program be in 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, as Nancy said, it's hard to predict, but for now, what is on the roadmap is to expand NMT train engines to the pending languages that we still rely on generic NMT. And I'm going to be assessing and testing some cool features that have been already assigned on the previous sessions and on the coming ones. So I don't want to be a spoiler, but I just want to say that those features will combine the best of both worlds in terms of NLP, machine translation, factual accuracy, and LLMs, fluency Gen AI. That applies to all translation steps. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to test that, and it looks promising.
Just a teaser for now. Well, look, we'll watch this space. Okay, so that's all the time we have for today. I'd like to thank my two excellent guests, Patricia and Nancy. One of the main questions I get asked by my customers is, what are my other customers doing? So no doubt those insightful and thoughtful answers will be much appreciated by our audience. I'd like to thank you both for jumping on this panel for me. I hope it was interesting for you, and we'll leave it there. So thank you all for watching. Stay tuned. The next session in the conference will be along shortly. But until then, take it easy, and we'll see you again.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.